Welcome to my YouTube video. Thank you for liking and subscribing below. Empathic people, which of course you are one of those, only empathic people would be interested in something that I teach or the things that I teach, naturally have a gorgeous, huge, stunning, beautiful heart chakra. It fills their entire chest cavity. And the reason why you have this type of large heart chakra is because you're an old soul. You've lived many lifetimes and you've learned a lot about compassion. And when you're a highly compassionate person, it can make it difficult to set boundaries, to say no, walk away from things that aren't in your best interest, or maybe even in the best interest of others. So you may often have this dilemma where you don't want to feel like you're not being very nice. You certainly don't want to appear mean, but you really need to. Other people who are not empathetic, their heart chakra is smaller and they're working on compassion towards others. Empathic people with their large heart chakras are working on compassion towards oneself. That means setting boundaries. And when you set boundaries, you're not really setting them for the other person, you're setting them for yourself. And what happens when you don't and when you overgive, you start to leak energy out of your body, which can weaken the anatomy and the physiology, really anywhere in the physical form, but in particular, your chest area. It could affect the lungs or breast tissue, the heart muscle, the thymus gland, any place up on the upper portion of the back, because that heart chakra governs this whole landscape of the physical form. And more importantly, you will not have the insight that you need, because when your energy is low, your vibration's low, your frequency's low, you can't really hear, see, and feel the multisensory world in the way that will give you the insight about any circumstance that would be important for you to not be as compassionate as you would like to be. You've already learned compassion. You're excellent at it. You've won every award necessary. The achievements have been fantastic. But when it comes to self-compassion, it will require setting lots of boundaries and saying no and walking away from things that maybe you never would have walked away from. But here's one of the reasons why it'll be easy, because if your energy is elevated, that means you're not feeling guilty or that you made a mistake or you're not a good person. Your energy will be elevated and you'll actually see what is really happening in the circumstances. So let's just say you're with a bunch of your friends and one of your friends is worried about a person who was supposed to show up. You're all at dinner, you're waiting for everyone to appear before you order food, and one person still hasn't come to the restaurant. And your empathic friends are worried. They're texting that person, they're calling them, now they're calling that person's spouse. It's only been like 10 minutes, but they're worried about them. And you're like, yeah, I can feel, because you have your energy elevated, because you're not in this overly responsible, overly worried, overly giving energy. You can feel like, oh, that person's probably parking their car, or maybe they decided not to come and they're going to send us an email later. You're not worried. And I want you to embrace that rather than, why am I not worried? Don't I care about people? This is what happens when empaths begin to set boundaries. They begin to question their empathy as if they've lost it all and they've flushed it down the toilet. But no, they're actually coming to balance. They're beginning to see the reality of a situation because their intuition is highly active, because their vibration is elevated, and they're sensing scenarios and circumstances more accurately, which is what happens in the opposite situation when empathic people are staying in that over compassionate, caring, worried spot. They're out of touch with their insight. They're making inappropriate decisions. They're flying off the handle. They are disconnected from their insight, and they're making rash decisions that are actually making them more tired, worn out, and unhappy. Just like the scenario that I suggested, all the people who are calling and leaving emails, they're getting tired. They're worn out. They're going to want to go home early because they just used a bunch of energy for something that was completely unnecessary. Where the one person who's like, I think everything's fine, and everyone's looking at them like, what's wrong with you? We should be texting this person. Where are they? Maybe they got a flat tire. You know, they're going on and on, creating all these scenarios that don't exist. That one person's going to have a ton of energy. When the missing person walks into the restaurant, they'll be able to go, hey, how's it going? With the other people are going to go, oh my God, we're so glad you're here. What happened? And they're creating drama, and they're running energy out of their bodies, and they're wearing down their adrenal glands. Because even though the heart chakra governs the organs that I described and the physiology, like the pumping of blood through your arteries and your ventricles, through the pulsation of your heart muscle, and the alveoli, the base of your lungs, are exchanging CO2 with O2. Even though that is happening too, and that can be affected by a heart chakra that's leaking energy, the fourth vortex, this heart chakra, is the highest receptivity center in your entire body. So it's bringing in energy for all of your physiology and all of your anatomy. And one of the areas of the body that really get weak and tired and worn out from overanalyzing, processing, worrying, not being in high frequency and over caring about others are the adrenal glands. And the adrenal glands are the powerhouse for your entire autonomic system and your endocrine system. So they are responsible for your immune system, a big portion of your immune system. So remember that reaction, especially overreaction, is far from your natural intuition. You aren't even in the same vicinity. And when your mind is coming up with crazy scenarios, you are weakening potentially some of the organs in your chest and maybe even your endocrine glands, and affecting your immune system. And you're not getting accurate insight. You're not hearing and seeing and feeling the heavens and what they really have to tell for you. And you want to work on getting out of that overly empathetic heart chakra and align to its authentic emotion, which is neutrality. The heart chakra is supposed to be neutral. Then when you really need your adrenal glands, you can employ them to work for you. And you always want your intuition to work at its highest capacity possible in every situation of your life. Not for just this scenario, the pretend scenario I suggested, but in every area of your life. Your life will be easier, a lot more fun. You will feel magic at every turn of events because you're going to go, see, I told you that person was perfectly fine. You're going to start to trust your instincts, not just in that scenario, but maybe when you're making a stock market investment, or you're taking money to invest in some other place, you're meeting new friends, or you're moving across the country, you're going back to school, you're starting a new career. This will go a long way in making sure that you are living in alignment with the highest form of your consciousness and making phenomenal decisions that make your life better. Have a good day. Bye-bye.